Beanos. Listen, I know a lot of you guys get mad because I don't mention names, but a lot of guys are active, and I know a lot of guys don't want to believe this. But like I said, I believe in what my friends, acquaintances, and one close friend did to change his life. So I don't want to. It's a young kid and he's mad. Other than that, bring the guy. I don't care about paperwork, Wits Act, Mafia, whatever they want to say. Bring the guy forward that did 1 minute a time because of me. G Gat, close third. Come on, Tom, you're my man. I don't want to disagree. I don't want to disagree with you. Sure. Kashushi, Anthony. I think G Rap. Cool G Rap or G Rap? Because Cool G Rap was insane. It's a demo. If you remember, Cool G Rap was one of the first rappers to mention John Gotti Sr. in his name. Rags to Riches or Road to Riches. Be like John Gotti. Drive a Maserati. Live in the ghetto. Yeah, he was one of the first rappers to mention John Sr. BDK. Oh, joke. Everything he did. When they did the symphony, which was probably hands down one of the best piece of works on a collab, which you'll never get today, that many rappers, it was our We Are the World for hip-hop. Big Daddy Kane, come on. If the mic was a weapon, come on. If the mic was a body, my prints are on it. I mean, I don't know. It was that, I can't even, I'm not thinking straight. Crazy in that. His piece in that was crazy. The mic on my prints, and on it was a body. Oh, 1988, 87. The mics had my prints, and on it was a body. He was bodying guys on the microphone. I know people say, stop being a wigger, stop doing this, fucking hip hop asshole. Nah, I'm diverse in all music, all culture, all fashion. Cool G Rap got songs. Oh, it's a demo. One of their greatest. What I want you to do, not that I'm not an Ice-T fan, I'm not a West Coast music fan. South, Scarface, probably Master P, killing it. Silk the Shock, all that shit was good. Ice-T got a song from the 80s, High Rollers. It's like jumping rope over razor blades. Lightning strikes, decisions are made. Crazy. Colors, of course, because of the movie, but that was, but catch High Rollers and listen to him wreck that song, meaning in a good way, and you'll have a different respect for his flow. A lot of bosses. Wow. Senior. I mean, going back to 85, younger than that, of course, it was Big Paul. Senior, his son, and Uncle Pete. Those were the three guys. I mean, you had Jackie the Nose, acting boss. Nicky Carrazzo literally was probably the undercover boss. Serious as can be. Never lost a sit down. Earned. Went in the streets, did his thing. That's why he was always getting locked up. I think you mean. Like, you guys are disappearing. I'm going to do my thing, buddy. I didn't say rap was... Guys asking me questions. I haven't been on live answering questions. I got home today, sick as a dog. Don't want to be back in New York. I've been threatened with jail time. Crazy shit. Just don't want to be here. Not that I'm going on the lam. Just want to be away from these people with this negativity. I need some positivity in my life. I mean, not me. They call me. They called me 5 times in 2015. I turned myself in. They knew not even to send anybody to get me, warrant squad or anything. Come in, Russo. Bang. Turn myself in. You don't run. Believe me. I told you I was with guys that were worth $500 million. Where were they going? They knew the pictures were coming down. Where am I going? this face, these eyes, no one will ever. I'll be picked out in small time Nebraska. Oh, stick out like a soft thumb. Thought you was somewhere south. No, I went Midwest to see Lollapalooza, Chicago. I laid up with some peeps and some Roach Motel, because that's what Hootie's budget is. They're getting me for everything in court, and then some. More money than they're supposed to. So Hootie ain't rolling like that. I agree. This is a lot of hip hop talk coming from a guy who's always Sicilian otherwise. I can't like music. I love Italian music as well. Let's sing the Donatello. I mean, I got no problem with that. Except that's Amore, because they play it everywhere. It's so commercial. New Jack Hustle. New Jack Hustle. That was a big thing, New Jack Hustle. I wasn't really down with Guy and them, but they did their thing. They actually, if you watch New Jack City, they're the ones singing in the nightclub. That was a New Jack Hustle. Jail Time. What about Jail Time? You want me to finish it out? Hootie, when is the merch coming? All right, listen. The new collab is the same hats. Now, why I like these hats, I don't know if you remember. I sent the picture out when I bought my Lexus. These, the only thing I ever bought, I bought a few things from the Gap. I'm not going to lie, underwear, because they were the first ones to really put it out before Tommy. But these hats were made by the Gap. They made them in blue denim, if you remember, in the 80s. And they made them in white. That's what I took the picture in. So, I had, and then Supreme, I have the Supreme blueprint. Not exactly as, and that's what I'm using. Not theirs specifically. And they sent me 50 of them. So now I'm going to sell them. And, which, like I said, I'm in the hole, my own money. I haven't made, so I'm going to sell those hats. And when they're all sold out, I'll buy the new t-shirts with them. So, let's get 50 hats sold, guys. Yeah, let's get 50 hats. 50, should be 50. I gave a few away. Let's get 50 hats sold. $40 plus shipping and handling. $45, and we'll send the hat out. And that's no making money. That's strictly to get the t-shirts. Yep, Bella. But he did say people keep asking, so he's just answering. Farrell, call me. I would love to meet you. I was a lawyer, served 6 years in the feds. John, hit me up. Hootie, at Hootie282, and drop me a line to call you. Live from Bedford-Stuyvesant, the livest one, representing BK to the fullest. Gats, I pull it. I can't run. I told you I'm tone deaf. I like when Hootie talks about himself in the third person. No, you see, I tell you the story, and this is the problem. I go on these idiot pages, like not JC West Coast, the other one, and these guys write 900 comments. Great storytelling. What story? I can sit here and mention 37,000 Italian names. Is that a good story? I get junkie, I get low life, I get bullshitter. This guy tells you fucking stories. He was on the streets till he was 23. He told you 6 times that he was on fucking record with Spiro after Paulie told him, vouched for him that he was on the hit that robbed his daughter's jewelry. Then he told you Tommy Karate walked into the Chico Club and told him he was on the records with the banana. How many times are you going to get put on the record with the banana? And then Mikey Scars walks in with Frankie DeChico and them, who are Gambino guys, and now he's with Frankie DeChico's crew. And then he goes to jail, and Manny Madonna would call Anthony Spiro and tell him he's with me after the guy's married to him on a murder. Yeah, please. How many times are you with? How many times has somebody vouched for you to be with them, a part of another crew? It's all bullshit. Stop talking about me, because I got nothing to do with everybody else you got beef with. Talk about, oh yeah, great story, great role model for the kids. for the kids. This guy told you when he was 23 years old, he had the greatest time of his life in Loser. Great storytelling. He can't pronounce words. What storytelling? Are you guys, there's something wrong with you? Supporters? 900 comments, 900 of them are positive. About a story that didn't make sense. You want me to sit here and talk about Gambinos and Gottis and 18th Avenue and Arthur Avenue, First Avenue, and Pleasant Avenue. I can do that all day long. But I don't need to pull out the encyclopedia. And you know what? I got nothing against the guy, but he keeps bringing my name up when I got nothing to do with any single person he's talking about. And what gets me more mad, this poor kid Joey, it's not poor kid, Joey Beans, which is, it doesn't mean bean shooter. He's got serious issues. He's not a drug addict. Okay? The guy was doing good, started a family, lost a job making probably by now about $200,000 a year because somebody told on him. Okay? And you know what? He knows my story. He knows the guys that were around me. He spoke to somebody last night that was on the case and was like, Rat, Hootie. Oh, right, Hootie. He jumped off a global plate. Yeah, he'll tell you that. Listen in the comments. And he knows the things that happened. He lived in the area where we owned a bar. And I'm trying not to help him, but get him along. Because he has a phobia. Not that he can't leave the house, that he don't want to leave the house. Thank God he's got his mother and father are gems. And his family. He's got a great support system. And it's one of those guys where I heard the story, when you fail, I never believed in failure because you just go again. It's not that he's not going again. He fell into a depression. So he's close to his parents. He stays home a lot. And he's not a bad kid. And you know what? If I called him right now and told him to come out of his house because he's got to fight a guy one-on-one, he's going to fight the guy one-on-one, win or lose. Most of the time lose because he's not a big guy and he doesn't train and he's been laying in bed. But he won't mind losing because he knows the rules of the street. You fight no matter what, win or lose. In 2 weeks, nobody remembers if you won or lost. But they'll remember that you ran. And you know what? He's coming on the show with me. He'll be handling my comments. I know people always say, stop letting people on the show. Stop letting people get down. But you know what? I always put the olive branch out. And you know what? He spit in my face before. He turned against me like everybody else did. One person stood by me. And he's still a little query and weary about me. Query meaning he's still weary about me. But he stood by me. One person. Everybody else turned their back on me. And you know what? I got to say too. Andy Stone 827 stood by me. There was another guy, I don't want to mention his name, who's friends with other guys now that threw me under the bus with guys I used to work with, did help me. And then after he helped me, put my business in the streets. But we're okay now. But you never forget that. Andy 827, never. I call Andy 827 right now. He'd send me wherever I want from England to help me. But I don't want that. Because that's something my ex will bring up in family court and try to get a piece of. Nothing. I haven't earned $1 since April. I want to keep it that way. I'm into this for $900 just in merch. But we're going to sell these hats and get more t-shirts for you guys. If you want to be part of this Hootie platform. It's not a rap platform. It's just me. But, my good friend, you guys consider a rat. I don't. So I got nothing against them since you consider them that. Me? I don't care about WITSAC paperwork. I don't care about... I never testified. I never went to the grand jury. I never wore a wire. Most people can't say that. I jumped off a global plea. I played Queen for the Day on myself. I'll take the rat, reputation, because I'm on here talking about people I shouldn't have. You know, I don't mention a lot of names. But I'll never take the rap for somebody spending more than 1 minute in jail. You know, Angel Gotti and my ex, I don't want to mention her name. Why would Angel come after me? I got nothing against you, your family, or anybody else. Talk to your son. Ask him the advice I used to give him in the streets when I would see him at the clubs and tell him to get out of this. Go work with your cousins. You don't need this. Go out west when it's got sleep in peace for his father with your father's family, or work with your father's family in New York. I always gave your son good advice. Ask him. He'll tell you, Frankie. He'll let you know. But you want to help my ex out. Put lies out there. 50 years, 25 years. I've never been on a case that somebody's gotten that. Bring the paperwork forward that somebody spent one day. And you know what you did? You know what you did? I took a picture with somebody who I respected in the business that I didn't know from Adam. And you guys went and started a whole big thing for that guy who couldn't even call me or reach out to me except on Instagram to tell me what yous were doing. And he had nothing to do with me. I was there on my own. And there was a certain C actor who had the passes and gave them to me because they couldn't make it, that I was friendly enough with. And you went and hurt an innocent man that had nothing to do with me because he took a picture. You know what? I've never been a fan before, but I respect the guy's game and I respect what he does. So I took a picture with him as a fan. And you turned around and ripped him apart. Why do you think there's no more pictures? I got 100 pictures. Me and Angel Salazar hung out on that. I didn't want to stop talking about the people that hung out, because I didn't want to hurt nobody after what you guys did for the rest of the weekend. Poor guy don't even know me. Didn't even know my name was Anthony. And you just went and tried to ruin the guy's life. Or not ruin his life, but rip him up. He had no idea who I was. You were wrong, Angel, because my ex got in your ear, or my ex got in somebody's ear, or somebody got in your ear. Talk to your little brother. He knows me. Get the right paperwork. Get the right information. Find somebody that did a day in that neighborhood because of me. Stop bullshitting. I got nothing against you, so leave me alone. Leave my name out of your mouths. Okay? And I don't mean leave me alone, because I know you got beef with one of the guys I'm close with. I mean, just leave my name out of your mouth, because you ain't got nothing on me but fake stories from some girl that attached herself to you and gave you some bullshit, who don't even like you, who talked shit about you for years because her ex-husband knew you, and she didn't like that and talked nothing but bad things about you. I don't know you to talk bad things about you, but I can tell you the stories that she said about you during pillow talk. So keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And that's one of them. And there ain't no bullshit coming out of me, because anything you can pull up from this machine, there's no bullshitting in it. Find it. And then go find the person that spent 1 minute in jail because of me. Now, kid Joey ain't a bad kid. He's not a drug addict. He got issues. He's got bipolar. And like Gene, he never took his medication. He has a different form. He gets anxiety, he gets phobias, things like that. He's got OCD. And not anxiety because he's scared. Anxiety because he had such a great job, and anything now would be a downgrade and it'd be more depressing. So he's trying to find something that could help his family and help him. Thank God he's got a great support system in his family. And this is a kid who stabbed me in my back until he went and learned that the people that were telling him that were bullshitting. And he apologized like a man. And I accept apologies like a man, but I don't forget. And slowly he's becoming part of the team. He'll be answering and going on. But Jimmy Calandria, stop the bullshit, bro. You're going on talking about everybody for no reason. You're a God-fearing man. Why? Why? Because your sub stopped at 15,000 when Sammy cut you off? It's not our fault. Sammy cut you off because of Lee Cole. And I'm not talking bad about Lee Cole, but that's why he cut you off. Not because of the 9 guys you want to mention. Get your subs back. Stop those 900 fake comments about your stories where you can't even pronounce the word decoy right. Great storytelling. Great hat. You look like, where's that Kevin Weeks? Kevin 2 weeks. Not even Italian. And you know I got nothing against you. I mentioned your name on Vlad. I stuck up for you. And what'd you do? You stabbed me in my back to go on Sammy's show. Because what'd you tell me? I'll only go on a positive show. And Sammy made a jerk of you. I should shake this kid down. You didn't buy me a bottle of champagne. Paulie sent it over. You were a spider. Whatever. Not in those words, but that's what he did to you. But you know what? I guess you're about the money. Because you gained 15,000 subs and you haven't moved since. But you know what? Watch time. I don't care if you get 900 subs. Your minutes are 9 minutes. Your shows are 9 minutes long. You ain't getting no watch time. And I know you like to earn money. So stop fighting with guys and pick the right people to fight with. And Angel Gotti, your brother's trying to come out with a show called Witsec Mafia. And you're promoting Jimmy Calandria's show. Right? And then what do? Not to post Sammy the Bull's video. You post Fat Bald Sicilian, who's not involved in any of the Cosa Nostra stuff, but he posted the video that Sammy put up, so you posted his show, posting the Sammy video. Your father's rolling around in that wall. Yeah, I was there when they put him in the wall. Ask your brother, and ask every other wise guy that was there when I was there. When we went back to La Bella Vita to eat, and I was at Mikey Wise's table. Yeah. Right, we were having the competition with eating hot peppers at the time. None of you know about that. I'll tell a story about that one day. Yeah, I wasn't around, right? Mm-hmm. Come on, wake up, people. Stop coming at me. Because I got ammunition. But I don't do this. I'm doing this so I can reach people to help them. And if you want to help people, and you want to talk about Witsec Mafia, and you want to talk about rats, stop promoting them. Because your post, which I got in trouble for, that people don't want to talk to me anymore because I was following you. Follow Jimmy Calandria. He's a good guy. I got nothing against Jimmy. I got nothing against what he did. But he put one of your father's good friends in jail. A guy that was part of the Carmine Galante hit. A legend. Part of history in Cosa Nostra. Testified on the stand. And you're promoting his channel. Wide open. Now, I'm not a guy who takes snapshots, but it sure is saved. So you're turning around. That's just as bad as promoting Sammy's show after what he did to your family. So knock it off. And then what? You're going to put me on the Witsec Mafia on A&E? With what proof? A fake letter from my ex? Go get real federal paperwork. Real federal paperwork. Not something someone's going to give you a photocopy of. Because you don't know what you're talking about by listening to others. I would think, since you were part of the Gotti family, you would have learned one of your father's favorite sayings. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. And you're promoting guys who got on the stand and testified against your father's friends. Which I have nothing against, because this is my life today. But you can't run around, because I know you're the mouthpiece for the rest of your family, because Junior ain't getting on, Victoria ain't getting on, Little Peter ain't getting on, and nobody else is getting on. Only you, who lived in the guest house. Do you want me to start saying things? I like your son, and I like him a lot. Not that I liked him, I like him. Frankie's a good kid. I'm sorry that he lost his father to a heart attack at a young age. And if a lot of people don't know, his brother Anthony was in Out for Justice. It was a good-looking family. So knock it off, Angel. Because believe me, Uncle Pete ain't around anymore. There's a lot of people that were that could tell you where we spent our Saturdays breaking bread and playing cards when he was boss. And I sat to the left of him. And Ronnie one of them sat to the right of him. And we played Continental all afternoon. Okay? Yeah, no, I was there. And I could tell you the conversations. I could tell you the days. Yeah, I was a part of that. No, I didn't need a button like you listen to these old timers talk about. They needed to meet the bosses. Well, I sat down without even being on record. and had conversations and broke bread with them. And I had a lot of respect for Uncle Pete, no matter what people said. I had a lot of respect for Junior when he was boss. But this whole Witsec Mafia thing, for what? Gene wasn't in Witsec. I wasn't in Witsec. Like, come on. Get proper paperwork. These guys are talking nonsense. Believe me, I don't mind if you put me on. I love to be on TV. Just make sure I get paid for it. If it wasn't a picture that was taken in the courtroom or coming down the flight of stairs of the courthouse, don't put it up. Because I got no Getty images that I approved. All right, guys. Moved that hard. Tammy, love you, girl. Where are you? Come on, don't disappear on me. Skeeting the faces. Got a lollipop in my mouth. What are you talking about? No. Let everybody know. I don't do beef. I got problems with nobody. They can talk about anything. Except if you talk about my parents or my children, you're dead to me. That's it. Other than that, talk whatever you want. Let me put the lights on. Other than that, talk whatever you want. Hootie don't got beef with anybody. I'm not beefing, staying out of the drama. And that's the bottom line. I'm just letting people know that are out there, you're getting false information by somebody who's scorned. And not scorned because they were cheated on, because and you'll read it in my book, out of the 300 plus women, she was the only one that I was faithful to. So, she's scorned because she wants to write a book. She wants to be on YouTube. And then she gets mad at me when guys call me up or put me on WhatsApp talking about that they're sleeping with her. I'm not saying they are. It's all over WhatsApp. Why wouldn't I have mentioned that back in January when I started the show and you're trying to ruin my life? Get me locked up for wire fraud. I'm not putting my name to nothing. They'll pick me up tomorrow. I'll just have to lay up until they get through all the paperwork. What am I going to do? It's life. I've been there before. If I come out alive this time, God bless. Most likely you're locked in that cell. You'll catch a shiv in the ear when you're sleeping. But whatever. What am I going to do? I'm not going into... I don't got to go into PC. Because ain't nobody ever spent the day in jail because of me. So if I end up with a shiv in my ear, that means I was slipping. And it was a mistake. Because nobody spent the day. I don't care if I was in Witsack for 10 years. Pull a guy who spent the day because of me. One day. Because of what I did, said, jumped off. I don't give a shit if I profit for 7 years. Find one of my friends that spent the day. You want to know why? Somebody on this YouTube mentions a guy that the Gambino family don't even recognize or give him information. Went around and asked all the guys I grew up with and all the guys I did business with, how come you guys ain't locked up? How come you guys aren't in jail? How'd you pass? Well, we didn't hear anything. Maybe you did. We didn't see any paperwork. And that's what they said. And then my ex got involved. And that chased them away from me. Not rumors of me being a rat, but my ex making up rumors about them that I said chased them away. Go figure. What do you guys want to talk about? I got the beef over the Michael Jackson trial in the Beacon. That was my second beef besides with the Muslim kid. That was a funny beef. It wasn't funny. It was a guy who was older than me, and he got real serious, but I didn't give a fuck. Michael Jackson paid his way out of that trial, seeing it was going south. That means he was fucking guilty. And I'm not here to talk bad about Michael, because out of my favorite songs, he sings one of my top 5, Human Nature. So, But when somebody turns around and pays a family, that's guilty. And don't say, oh, that's because he. No. If OJ stand a chance, anybody standing a chance except the Italian guy. And now I'm not saying they're not locking minorities up and putting them away by the dozens. I'm not saying that at all. Everybody knows who knows me. I'm very diverse. So let's not get into that. I dress urban. I listen to hip hop. And I'm not saying that I'm not racist. I mean that I got a black friend. No. I break bread with people that I'm close to. I'm not going to sit here and say I got a black friend. I'm not racist. I break bread with the people I trust and I'm close to. If that doesn't include a black or a Spanish guy, so be it. It does include a few Spanish guys, but it doesn't include a black guy. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not racist because I have a black friend. That's what people say that are racist. But, like I said, Michael was wrong. Filling Coca-Cola cans up with wine? Come on, people. Pay attention. Forget about the fake news. Turn on the real news. When they confiscated all the modems and whatever computers I'm not good with that would hold all the information from whatever you Googled, whatever you watched, and they found a ton of kiddie porn. Yeah, I know. You don't want to know that. Go into the story. What they found on those computers. Okay? Now, I'm not here to badmouth the guy. Listen, Jared did it from Subway, crossed state lines, and he got a beating, even though they sent him to a camp. The guy still beat him down for that. So, Harvey Weinstein. We let Cosby out, but not Harvey. Everybody with Harvey, they actually went up and consented to it, even though they didn't want to. Cosby was drugging them. He's walking around. Weinstein shouldn't be walking around. But neither should be Cosby. Neither should have been Michael. Neither should Jared. Let's just put them all together. Okay? And I'll give you a quick one. Bernie Madoff. All that money. I don't know if he came from the streets or he was just a tough guy. He didn't give a shit that he was living like a cockroach. And you know what? When he left the box and he went to a unit, don't quote me on this, but it happened. The unit or the compound that he got into a fight and he fought. Got a little banged up. He's an older man, but he fought. Got to give Bernie that. Took that. Billionaire was out there fighting in the yard. Didn't cower to nobody. Didn't check in. Just a little fruit for thought, right? So somebody post up here. I don't believe in what he did. But you know who's worse? The Wilpons. They kept $750 million because they were one of the few people he made money. And when they went to them and said, put the money back in the pool, so the people like the little old lady who had nothing to leave her grandchildren and had to move in with a daughter-in-law or a daughter, they can get back their money. The Wilpons wouldn't budge with $1. They made it fair and square. They paid taxes on it fair and square. And now I heard they're looking to sell the Mets. It used to be, I didn't like Met fans. I didn't mind I was an 86, 87 Met fan. I liked Piazza. He was Italian. Turned into a punk. Who do you think you get flack from the Italians in the life because you're more versatile? You rock with hip hop. I did all the time. See this? This is peach fuzz. They never argued with me. They never fought with me. They didn't like the business I was in. They weren't drug dealers. I was. It had nothing to do with Cosa Nostra. We had disagreements about that all the time. But if I wore a hat, or I wore jeans, or I wore this, and I had peach fuzz or this, arguments were almost like, let's lock the door and let's wrestle. Because we used to do that, at one of that, stash houses. I call them stash houses even if they're not drugs. The little hideaways or the club, Because people can't see that. You know, three wise guys, an associate rolling around on the floor. You can't do that. You get in trouble. But it would come to that. It would come to that. Don Peps was big with that. When Mike was working the door, he'd always say, "Oh, take off the hat." I hated taking off my hat. Because to do my hair, you don't understand how long it takes. It's like a woman. It's too much. And I'm done shaving it because I'm too old now. You don't know if you're going to get it back. You don't want to know my sign. Because then I'm going to explain what it means and you aren't going to agree with it. And then my sign is actually going to benefit the people that talk bad about me. Come on, guys. My man Joey Beans, where are you? You're supposed to be on here. Bella, you dissed me before. I'm not going to talk about what you want to talk about. You played me, Bella. Played me hardcore for no reason. I'm not that guy, but you made me out to be that one. When I was running with my crew, some of them were half Sicilian, but they wouldn't tell you. They looked down on the Sicilians. So, I don't know. Today, the Sicilians are running the show. Yes, they were from Ridgewood. They weren't part of the crew that the government claimed to be with Ronnie. Young Guns were definitely not with Ronnie. They were from Middle Village. Most of them didn't even know him. They met him in jail or other places. But the crew that they claimed knew Ronnie as well as them were the 77 boys. Young Guns have tattoos. 2 smoking pistols. That's when you know you're a young gun. Other than that, 77 boys don't got tattoos like that. Actually, to be honest with you, 2 guys I know were pretty tough with their hands from 77th Street. Some little bullshit club fight. They got arrested. They got let go on desk appearance tickets. Started blaming each other in the middle of the street right in front of the police station. And boys from 77 jumped out in the street and said, "Let's do it." And Young Guns pretty much were ready to get down, but not as aggressive. But 77 boys had a lot more shooters. So they squashed it. And the next day, one of the more diplomatic Young Guns came to Ozone Pok and was like, "Listen, a misunderstanding. It was not a disrespect. We know how you guys get down. We just want to make sure no one's rolling through Ridgewood with smoking pistols." So, yeah. 2 different crews. But today, even when you read Gangland, I don't know where Jerry Capizzi gets it from, they were the 77 boys who got kicked off the avenue from Ronnie One Arm and moved to TLP, which was the Liberty Posse. Originated at 77th Street and 101st Avenue in front of Savaroli's. Yes. No matter what anybody tells you, when I was growing up, when I first joined the life, Carmine the Bull was the real deal. Okay? I mean, of course, listen. People don't understand this. There's always somebody out there bigger and tougher. I was always smaller. I was always younger. I always ended up with the shit end of the stick of a brawl. Well, the brawls were pretty good because when you got 20 guys trying to hit you, you hardly get hit. But the one-on-one fights, I had a guy one time, we were in the park. He had to be 10 years older than me. He was the size of Jose Canseco. He hit me with 2, bing, bing. I didn't get knocked out, but it was the first, I think it was one of the first times I seen the light bulbs where people talk about Tweety Bird. You know what was sad about, I wasn't ashamed, but I was on my ass. I landed on a rock. Oh, it was just a bad day. But I was dating a girl at the time. I was 15 years old, maybe even 14. And she was in the park with her nephew and seen it. It was embarrassed. I felt embarrassed, but she didn't care. She was like, "Did you see the size of that guy that hit you?" I'm like, "I seen him, and then I didn't see him." And then there was a guy, Eddie. Eddie Verone. A lot of people don't like him. I like V for Black. V for Black was always good with me. And I didn't know him to be a fighter, but he was definitely a tough guy. Not a tough guy, but he was tough. for a neighborhood guy, working guy, and I guess the guy was about to pounce on me when I came through, and he pushed the guy away. He said, "What are you doing?" He's a kid. These guys were, I was 15, 14, were 25, 26. Those are the guys I hung out with. Jay, hey. Those guys, there was a lot of Lucchese guys in Jersey. Which Paulie's home were? She was on me like white on rice? Probably. The list is long. It'll be in my book. Well, just a little bit, but yeah, I don't think any of the street guys had numbers like I did. And I don't mean it like I was keeping count, because I stopped counting at a certain time, but I was pretty good. That's what I need to explain. A lot of people ask me, how come I didn't have a Napoleon complex? I think I was 14 at the time. I didn't know what Napoleon complex meant. And they were like, well, it's a short man disease. Well, my mother was 4'11". My father was probably 5 or 5'1". I always say that, not exactly, but my sister was short. I mean, I got 5'7", 5'6". I mean, I thought I was blessed. So, no, I never, and I fought with everybody when I was a kid. Fought anybody, no matter what size they were. And then I learned from guys about guys with no legs, guys that were all water from steroids, and I would fight. And people were like, well, this guy's fighting some. But I knew. And if you were good with these, I got my shit lumped up a lot. And then, from a young age, my personality, my looks, of course, when I was younger, I was a lot better looking than I am now. I attracted a lot of women. And that, I didn't know at the time, but it set me out in the world for confidence. Because a lot of people ask me, where'd you get your confidence from? You had no money. You were on welfare. People talk behind your back about your family because how you lived in a tenement house with roaches and mice. That your mother was a sociopath and a narcissist, and your father worked 7 days a week and had no money. And where'd the confidence come from? And it was crazy because then I look back on it, and it was because even if I wasn't with the girl, or, well, besides my recent exes, we always stayed friends. You know, I got my day one. I got a day one that we're still rocking it to this day. Me and her are like this. Homies for life. You know what I mean? And that's what built my confidence, and I didn't know it. I would walk up to the most beautiful girl in the bar, yes or no, and talk to her. Beautiful girl in the club. Woke up out of my league, out of my money league, out of everything. Sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't. But that's where my confidence came from. And a lot of people don't understand that from watching how I was raised. You ever run into Killer Kev from Brownsville? I did. Didn't run into him, but I was around him. Listen, I would love Brownsville, and I'm not lying to you. They just hate the white man, no matter if he's Italian. I've been chased out of there, trying to get my bike robbed, my chain robbed. I used to go everywhere with my chains. I didn't have, I wasn't rocking rollies at the time or anything like that, but I always had a nice gold chain or a nice jacket. I would 8 balls. I don't care how tough I was. I wasn't getting on the train with them. I wasn't walking around. They were killing people over Barclays, Air Max 95s, pennies, and 8-ball coats. They were killing people over them things. So regardless how tough you are, you're not staring down the barrel of a gun and being tough. When the guy's willing, you look in the guy's eyes, you know he's willing to pull it. You look in other guys' eyes and you know they're just pulling it because they're scared to fight you. Beat up in a bakery by a banana guy. Listen, I was a strong kid. Was he, was his edges cut for him to know how to use it? When we wrestled, he fucking used to keep me in a headlock for a half hour. I had to pick him up, and he hated using his hands, but he was a strong guy. He just, and you know what? You just want to play with him. He stepped to a banana guy. and pressed him, made guy. And that's where the beef started with him and Ronnie G. He pressed the made guy, and he did by himself. And he slapped a lot of guys too. So, whatever he is today, I'm pretty sure he's a big guy. I mean, his father's 6'5", he's got to be 6'1", 6'2", 240. He always worked out. Just because how I feel about him is how I feel about him. But I can't talk bad on other things about him. This is what I try to tell people. I don't talk bad about people. But I'm going to tell you the truth about them if you ask me. He's one of the guys that I most likely dislike because he held me back. He spreaded the room behind my back about being a rat when all I did was take time. Jimmy Joe. What's that? Talking about Johnny Joe? Gotta get the names right, people. Oh, Johnny Joe. You wrote it right. Sorry, CJ. No joke. Johnny Joe was a real dude. Yeah, he slapped him unconscious. I'm going to get into a story about Cityscapes one day where that was a Bonanno and Gambino joint. And it was Johnny Joe, Ronnie One Arm, and Johnny Joe had Little Anthony with him. And Ronnie had us. Now, if there's ever a clash, it's, Clash would have been the other guy's channel. And you would have wrote, great story, shoveling snow, playing Pac-Man, for the kids. My fun goal. For the kids. My ass for the kids. He needs to reach out and apologize for how he acted after I mentioned his name on Vlad. And promise me, which I don't care about promises because that's for kids, that he'd be coming on with me before Sammy if Joey Calco don't go on Sammy with him. So, and that's the truth about that. And that's where that beef started, not with me. And then he wants to throw me in the mix with other people. You got a problem with somebody else? That's your problem with them. You got a problem with Gene, you got a problem with me. But if you got a problem with somebody else, that's not my problem. Where's your guy? My MRA? MRE? Let me know who that is. Yeah. Honeys was with us. Honeys was with us. Didn't Honeys turn into Secrets? Honeys turned into Secrets. He got straightened out. Got straightened out old. I don't know if he's around anymore. I know he got sick, but he got straightened out old. Honeys was all ours, but with nobody else involved. Urge Stacks. Come on. You got a guy who's doing mob podcasting who's been arrested for vagrancy. No serious crimes. He was in a gang that did nothing. When I was asked, did you drugs, extortion? Did you just have a route? No, we just walked around fighting and beating people up. So I try to help him, like everybody else. He hooked up with my ex-wife, spoke bad about my parents, so I'll never forgive him for that. And then he gets a guy like the bald Sicilian who's a recovering addict and doing well at it. So that's his wheelhouse. He's a recovering addict, supposedly. But, smoking crack, that's not a drug. And forget about talking about stuff. Talk about recovery. Find a lane. Get a platform. Here's a man that knows about recovery. Married the nurse that helped him. Get into serious conversations about recovery. You were there. But you know what that tells me? You didn't pay attention when you were there. See how I correct myself? Other guys would just talk out their ass and think the words made sense. He didn't pay attention when he was there. He just wanted to get out and get high again. And he wants to get on, talk about paperwork. Fuck giving him paperwork. My ex put a battery in his back like she did Angels. That's all she does is put batteries. Come on. I'm done talking about her and everybody else. She's telling the grocery store clerk in my old neighborhood I went to get, your ex was in here? She told me, death or jail. That's all that's ahead in your future. You're done. Death or jail? What kind of person is this? Jail for what? I haven't took a pack of bubblegum since I've been home. But believe me, NYPD, feds, they listen to her. So I'm sure there's an investigation into what? My Supreme account? Come on. They're not getting me with no money because I don't have what's his in. Everybody got their own opinion on everybody. Do I agree with the fact what FBS is saying? Some of the stuff, but like he said, he's gaining subs because he talks about what he knows. He's not on here talking about even though he's part of the Cosa Nostra genre, he's not on here talking about Cosa Nostra. He has a personal beef with one person. He bases his show around that. He got help from somebody else, which he didn't need. Believe me, his subs didn't come from there. And me and him, we're good. I got no drama, no beef. I don't know him to talk bad about him, so I got nothing bad to say. But we got no drama otherwise. Lee Cole now, since Angel kicked him to the curb and isn't helping him out with the channel anymore, feeding him the bullshit information about 50 years and 20. I got a great contact. Jerry Capisi is a great contact. He writes the minutes from the case, from the court date. He sits there. And when you send it to the guy and he talks over it and doesn't talk the facts that's sent to him, do I have anything against him? No. What his family's been through I don't even want to talk about. I won't, not that wish, but I don't want that to happen to anybody. But he was chirping, I hope nobody sends that to parole. I hope nobody sends that to his judge. Well, you know what? If you hope nobody does it, don't mention it. And then nobody will have the idea to do it. But you know what? It was too late. They did it after you said it, not before. You mentioned it, so they said it. But I don't got nothing against them. But if you're going to come for my boy, I'm not going to come for you. I'm just going to back my boy. Because I don't do drama. I don't do beefs online. It's not me. I told you. The 5 minutes I spent at MovieCon, I got none but love. Guys that were down 10 years showed me love. Guys that knew me, remembered me from up north, showed me love. You know what they said? Show me the paperwork that you told. Which I did. I told. They wanted to see paperwork that somebody went to jail. Because in this day and age, like I said, the rules change. And don't get me wrong. The feds walk in the door tomorrow, I'll tell them whatever the fuck they want to know. You don't fuck around with them. You can't lie to a special agent. You can't. You got to tell them the truth. That's your one chance only. Tell them the truth. Unless you want to plead the fifth and lay up 5 years. They decide to open up the door and let you out. That's on you. Me? I'll tell them the truth. Again, I don't speak for the man who's doing an interview with Lee Social Club. We have a mutual friend who's in between us. We don't have beef. We just don't speak of each other. There's nothing there. So I don't know why that would happen after everything bad that was said about him. And he is FBS's supposed to, buddy on this YouTube thing. But God bless them if they are. That's none of my business. I don't speak for them. Hootie piped out. No, I didn't. That's where he's wrong. First of all, I was never around this girl with that fake story that numbers were switched. One, find a guy in the street with all the women I've been with that could say I was with that girl. If I was with a girl, it was before they were. And they screwed me over. But I didn't care because I never was in a relationship with them. If I wasn't in a relationship with you, I don't care what a guy does. I've seen a lot of girls. Belle wants to say dated. It's not dated. I've seen a lot of girls, went out with a lot of girls, hung out with a lot of girls, but I was never in relationships with them. I think 3 solid relationship, 4 half-ass, but 3 solid relationships. And I fell in love at 22 or 23. And she's in my book. She was one of the waitresses, but I'm not going to mention her name. She's off living her life and having a great time right now, and I don't need her, bring her into... She's not about Cosa Nostra or the streets or anything else. She got a great job. She does great things, and I'll never bring her into this. She'll only be known as one of the only girls I fell in love with. Yeah, you know, that kid who did that is my day one's half brother. And he's not a bad kid. I didn't know Chris. I don't want to wish death on him. I know he had a baby. But don't run around with the baby acting like who the father was. The guy was a stone cold killer, a stone cold maniac. And I'm not talking bad about him. But don't run around like he was a saint. This poor kid was scared to death for his life. And before that, he never even had a problem with a single person. I knew him since he was a baby. And he was a good kid. He just got fucked up on drugs. All he did was protect himself. And now he's laid up for 7 1/3 for self-defense. I don't know what happened in the case. I wasn't there. And for Chris's family, I'm not going against them as well. You know what I'm saying? But the kid that did it, you should really understand, was a harmless kid, was a good kid. I always had love for the kid. He would always run up to me when I came to the house to see his sister, show me love, not like his older brother, show me love and then act like a dick behind my back. He was a good kid, a really good kid. I hope to visit him. Maybe he feels different about me. I'm going to tell you something. And he wasn't a kid that liked trouble. He wasn't a kid that could be around trouble. He wasn't a kid that could survive in certain places. But you know what? He survived 3+ years on Rikers Island. And I give him so much props for that. Because he would have been the last kid I would ever think could survive on that island. He's a good kid. You know what? He protected himself. He was a maniac. Maniac. He might have lost his life that night if he didn't protect himself. Throw the crown up. Where's my man King Tone? He's not my man, but East New York in the building, King Tone. I think he's an activist now. He was running around with somebody I know on their shows. Lost a lot of weight, got into shape. Somebody I know had him on a show. The Timberhawk. Timberhawk, get the paperwork. It's a fake name. Get the paperwork. You want to make little rat symbols? I told you, I come on here and tell my stories, I'm a rat. You don't got to put it up. I'll tell you myself. No more blues for me. I don't know what that means. I don't know what blues are. Your buddy JC on Stacks. What's that mean? JC on Stacks. Whatever JC does with Stacks. Me and JC, we just squashed our beef from a distance through video. I got no, but I didn't have a problem with JC. Me and M. Callie had a little bit of a relationship behind the scenes where we would let each other know what was going on in each other's lives. Me and JC, he said something. I came back. He went crazy. I left it alone. And now it's over. Two ex-street guys with no beef. It's over. Just like that. There was no reason to have a show about it, a sit down, a conversation. He wanted it to be over. It was over in my eyes already. So it was just good to have confirmation that it was over in general. Capone. Let me tell you something about Capone. Capone kept calling me 100 times a day. Right? Not annoying me, to get this word out. I was so busy trying to get the show going with Sonova and getting this show on an everyday basis. I finally get over there because it's pretty far from where I live. I live out east in Suffolk. He lives very close to the city. How do you feel about what's happening with all the drama and beef on who's... Listen, who's real and who's not real? It's you know, it is my place to say because I seen what was going on. But it's not my place to talk about it online. Who's Frankie P? Is a guy online named Frankie P? I don't watch content. Hootie, can you do a video sometime on the Queens Cruise, Ozone Pok Boys, Liberty Posse, 78th Street, Jamaica Avenue? Hardy Boy, not the Hardy Boys are in City Line. The 79th Street Boys. Tell me where you're talking about 78th Street. And that we're in South Florida. Yeah, I'll do a show on that. Just remind me on my Instagram, and I'll put that after I'm done with all the jail stuff. Right now, I didn't get to a lot of people's questions. Let's get a super chat going. What's going on? You want to get hats? Let's get hats. Let's get money thrown in. What are you doing? Come on. Throw some money into the super chat. Let's get some hats sold so we can get t-shirts for everybody. There's no money being made here. Goes right back into the t-shirts. No. Trucchio is happy with his life. I spoke to somebody last night, and even him, who called me a rat for years when I wasn't, didn't call me a rat to this person. But he's happy with his life, he's happy with his family, and he don't want to be bothered. But the Sicilians aren't going to take him off the shelf ever again. So, but it's a blessing. They may think they hurted him. He thinks they helped him. So, he had enough of it, like me. 20-something years into life, it's over. And he got out with a worse reputation than me. Stacks guy, how are you? Didn't see through the guy from the beginning. So Stacks, let's get back to that. Oh, where were we? I don't want to jump. I hate jumping, guys. I know. I'm sorry. Me and Stacks, I don't even have Stacks' girl's number. We communicated through email because of Stacks. He had pictures because you think that he puts up all of these things. Can't even use his phone. She downloaded them for him. I guess they broke up. And then she sent them to my email because he gave it to her. That's it. That was the extent of our relationship through email. And I had the emails. Nothing shady going on. She was a good woman to him, a very good woman to him. He just thought he was Brad Pitt and became Hollywood once we hit 2,000 subscribers. And ran out and smoked crack. So that was stupid. It was a good lady, a good woman that would have took care of him and helped him. He's not the healthiest guy in the world. He don't have much in life. He lives like shit. And she reached out an olive branch to help this man. And he's spitting it. They could be back together now. That's just how women work. I don't know. But I never had nothing with her. BK in the house. My most lucrative was the crack game, brother. But I had to get out of that. The pill game was no joke. But that was when it was just Vicodin. I would never mess with oxys because I never heard of them until I came home recently. But I would have never... Oh, Roxy's. See, I can't even... Oxys I heard of when I came home. And I heard what guys were getting. And I wasn't... Once I get pinched for a crime, I don't go back to it. I don't want to be a predicate. You get predicate felonies, but if you get 3 of them, you're looking at a lot more time. So I switch my game up. A lot of people can't do that. They fail, they come back, they do the same thing. Nah. I move on. I go into other businesses. But yet, the pill game was crazy for a year. Just lighting the money off. I was making so much money that I was still borrowing money from the Shylocks to go gamble. Crazy. I was upside down all the time. Let's hear some Frankie Cali stories. Frankie Cali was a regular guy. He wouldn't talk to an associate like me unless we worked together in construction. You know what I mean? Frankie Cali was an ironworker Sicilian. Now somebody will say that he was Napoli Don. Whatever. But he was just a hardworking guy. Family man. Lived in a modest neighborhood. That's how they got him. Well, instead of one kid got him and everybody thought that they got him. No, nobody had a problem with Frankie Cali. But he wouldn't talk to a guy like me. I was an associate unless we worked together on a union job. Some guys, some bosses live by them rules. Other bosses liked having guys around like me because when you needed a favor and you weren't on record, the favor got done. Yeah, skivats. Mikey Farr. Skivats. Amink. Skivats. Animal. He is. Send them over. MOB. I ain't paying for them. Gift them. I don't buy. I don't pay cash. Your boy. What? Put up Al's dad's 302s. He didn't have 302s. That was his court minutes. Lonnie one of them never had 302s. Those were court minutes of him telling in court. which he got approval from the upper echelon to speak on those things. I was there. That was another thing. Someone said I put him in there for life. I sat second row through his trial. But he did say those things, but he had to get permission first to say them. I don't know what that says for the upper echelon, but he has no 302s. He never sat with the feds or the U.S. attorney. But he did say those things. That's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to build a business. I want to go into I want to be an agent. I've been doing that and studying, trying to get my license to be an agent. Who's that? Rob Zacha. What's up? How do we buy hats? Go to my DM at Hootie282. Send me an address you want it sent to. Go to Brooklyn, Queens at iCloud.com and drop the 45. Go to at Hootie282 into my DM. Drop an address with your name. I'll send the hat. Go to Brooklyn, Queens, Brooklyn the borough, Queens with an S, at iCloud.com and drop the 45. And that's all money and proceeds for merch. No money into Hootie's pocket. I got 50 hats left. Let's turn it into tees for the... Everybody calls me up for a tee. One guy didn't receive his tee and hat. Very upset with that. Jake, are you out there? Sorry, brother. I've been trying to find it. But you'll get one. They sent the hats. They didn't send the tees. They want more money. Hootie ain't living like that. I've been laying out money for merch since this all started back in whenever. And I haven't got no return or even. You know what I mean? So there's only so much I can lay out from being a working man. I'm being a patient. LOL. Rob, whoa, what are you talking about? Hootie, say what's up. I'm being patient. Rob Zedjak, I just said what's up. LOL. You're not busy. I'm not busy, I mean. I gave you a shout out before. I shout everybody out. It's my homies on there. But Zedjak, how long you been a supporter? Because I don't got fans. That's for these guys that want to be movie stars. I don't want to be a movie star. I got other plans for my life. I want to be famous. I had rock star numbers before I was 30. I don't need to be famous. I've been around the world and lived it twice. I lived my life twice. So I don't need to be rich either. Let them have a chance at it. I'm good. What I do love is music. So I want to get into being an agent, but not with a company. Was good. Yep. Let me find out you're in Storage Wars. You watching Dip versus... Of course. DVR in it. Told you I don't do cable. No news. Who's that? Global Media, $5. Much appreciated. Somebody sent something before. Where you at? If you sent something, send me a link. Not that you want to shout out, but I want to shout you out. Arthur Forget. Is that Arthur Forget? I can't see it. Let me know. There you go. Let's go, guys. Appreciate you, my man. That's cool shit. Like I said, I appreciate it. Nobody's asking, but we want to get these tees. You know what I mean? Double X's cost more money. Let's get these tees so I can get them out to you. I sent out 30, free of charge, no postage. I don't want nothing back. I want to be able to get more, send you them. Rob, I said, that's an old one, Rob. Rob, hit me back, dog. You my man, dog. You my homie. You my G. I know, guys get mad when I talk like that. $300 plus, neutral. 300 plus. I don't even want to tell you the number. I just put 300 plus in the book. It was crazy. Crazy 7 days a week. I felt bad. Guys that were killing their girlfriends. There was a lot of shit going on. Stalking them. Like crazy shit. Yo, my girl was so mad that she couldn't get something like that on me. She pinned a domestic violence case against me, and they still locked me up with no evidence. Where they left me there for 4 months, and I had to plead out to a misdemeanor. At this, I would never plead it out to the domestic violence. I pleaded out to disorderly conduct to get off of fucking Rikers Island. Fuck, I want to lay up there for the summer, and the winter was coming. I had to plead out to disorderly conduct and a fine on a fake domestic violence case because that wasn't my MO. And they were dying to get me on something like that. And then my ex before that was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Never even raised his voice around my kids. But people should know that's my personality. Es Pellegrino, little Italiano. Church, you guys. Gotta have a wild BBQ. My wife's Sicilian. Neutral, you put sweet peas in your sauce or your meatballs? Hate it. I like them. I eat them now. A little butter, a little macaroni. But back in the day, oh my God. Fall would kill me with the peas. I got you, fam. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Forget. I appreciate you. Oh, the honest truth. If the Albanians and the Italians went to war right now, who would win? The fucking Albanians. If they could stick together, if they can organize, where the Italians, some of them earn, some of them are shooters, but calculating, sitting on you in a long war, Albanians couldn't win. But they came in, they took over social clubs, cracked around some serious wise guys, and took them over. Albanians will win the war. Listen, I was talking to this guy, Kosovo, wherever he was from, he was a Muslim Albanian. They have the Orthodox Christians and they have the Muslim Albanians, not counting the Catholic ones that are from Sicily and Italy. Well, not Sicily, Calabrese and all of that, maybe parts of Sicily, yeah. That flow from Albania, but then Kosovo, there's Albanians all over. And they had a civil war, but they didn't have one weapon. The civil war was done through tech. These Albanian guys were geniuses. Right now, half of them are probably computer hackers working for some government or scamming money from somewhere. The sides between the Orthodox Christians and the Muslim Albanians were being fought through tech and computers. One guy would rob one guy's system that could crack this, and another guy would rob another system. I was very friendly with this guy. Called himself Tony, but I really couldn't pronounce his real name. He looked Italian, slick back hair, short like a Sicilian, talked, but he was a Muslim Albanian, and I had nothing but love for this guy. And he explained the war to me that they had. Not talking about the one that Beck Lover talks about, sleep in peace, and know he had family, but this other war that he was involved in was a civil war amongst the Albanians, the Christian Orthodox, and I could be saying that wrong about the Christian Orthodox. I know it was Christian Orthodox, maybe some kind of Greek Orthodox, I don't know, Albanians and the Muslim Albanians. And they fought through tech. No weapons, no fist fights. They would steal this currency, that currency, this property. How he explained it to me sounded like a movie, but it was real. And I respected that. And we should talk about it over lunch. And he was a good guy. I used to go visit him up until I got pinched, 2011. I would still go visit him. How long have you been on methadone? What a fucking idiot. Well, I don't even know what that other word is. Methadone, I remember, was old school. Heroin addicts used to take that. That ruins your bone marrow. I played football, I played baseball. Ain't nothing ruining my bones to crack. Methadone. You gotta do, I guess they call me a heroin addict. Not that I didn't catch on. I just don't fuck with drugs. So, they can say whatever they want. You knew about the fight at Danbury. Yes, I did. And I went at somebody because they stood and watched because they didn't want to lose their good time. And that's why I went at that person. And plus, he tried to abuse my boy. And I really went there because my boy Joey Beans called me up and I had his back. Even though, you know, he had a lot of making up to do with me, I still had his back. Alex Rodrigue, no joke. That Albanian, Russian, I don't, whatever that guy is, but I think he's Albanian. No joke. Yes. Yes. But he was one of the many that liked the Gambinos and got along with them. But he sat. He sat in sit-downs, which was unheard of because Meyer Lansky couldn't sit at sit-downs, being Jewish. But Alex did, 100%. A lot of stories that came back from them sit-downs. So it's not something that was just a fairy tale told. It was guys that were involved in those sit-downs. And guess what? They were scared of him and the guys he had around them. Let me tell you something about them. They give themselves an American name. You don't know their birth names. And even if you do, it's so hard to pronounce. They do a capital crime here. They hop on a freighter. They go somewhere else under another name. They shave their head and the world forgets about them. Same thing with the Asians. Everybody keeps saying the Asians don't rat. Nobody understands their names. They bail out. They don't care how much it is. They put them on a freighter, and they send them to Asia. 2 places nobody's going, Russia or Asia, to find anybody because they don't like America. So if you do get caught in those countries, it's because they're sending the Navy SEALs on the DL. And let them countries find out that the Navy SEALs are on their soil. They'll start letting their bombs go. When Sammy flipped. Give me the whole story, Larry. Didn't the Albanians sit down at Rayo's the night Gotti got arrested at the Gambino table? No. They walked into Rayo's because there was somebody there and said, give us John Gotti's table. It belongs to us now. But John Gotti didn't have a table. I don't want to put the relative's business out there who owns the table. But John Gotti had a table wherever he went. They make a difference. He needed to have one. They'd make one or give him one. But his family owned one, but I'm not going to put their business out there on who owned it. Fat Nick got a raw deal. A raw deal. Those kids had burglary tools on them. Burglary tools. They snuck in through Lindenwood, and he was protecting his neighborhood and his neighbors. And they were robbing cars, and they chased him. They hardly hit the kid. The problem was he had dubs on. And they took one and threw it and kept one in the car like a souvenir, like they shouldn't have. He was young. I liked Fat Nick. And they made it into a hate crime. I'm going to tell you this. He was dating a Hispanic woman. I don't know. I think she even testified. I wasn't sure. Or Dominican, whatever she was. He wasn't racist. You got to remember, I keep trying to tell people, this hip-hop stuff, this urban stuff, these kids get it most of the time before the ghettos get it. They go to the record stores. They go to the Coliseum. They go to Gertz Mall. They get this stuff. They order it. They wear it. If they listen to her music and Jay-Z says the N-word 77 times, and Jay-Z's one of my favorite rappers, they're going to rap to it. So you know what? They said it. But when Chris Rock or Kevin Hart or the Chappelle idiot gets on TV and calls people white crackers, it's not a hate crime. This poor kid spent 15 years or 12 flat, whatever it was, because they called it a hate crime. The kid didn't even get hurt. And not that he had a screwdriver, he had a pulley on him. He legitimately had stolen car paraphernalia. And they blamed this poor kid, Fat Nick. But he did his time, and I heard that he's doing good. I haven't seen him since he went away. We weren't friends, but we were acquaintances. He used to borrow he used to put money on the street years ago, before anybody else had money on the street. My guys did. Rayo's is one of the best dinners I ever had. Great sauce. Rap music sucks. Mumble rap today sucks. Go listen to yourself some Cool G rap, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Bismarck, Go listen to them. Go listen to Biggie, Ready to Die. Reasonable Doubt. The Blueprint. Illmatic. The GOAT of albums. Go listen to Wu and understand the hood. Lenny, he wore velour, but he wore tracksuits because he never wore a t-shirt. So the velour would make him sweat a lot, and it didn't. But he did wear a lot of track. He wore tracksuits during the day and suits at night. I remember when it snowed one year, we stopped at the store, the sneaker store, because he couldn't walk in his slip-on Nikes, and bought Timberlands to wear with a tracksuit, like the Russians do. Ralph Conti from Trenton. Good show, Hootie. Yeah, Ralph, represent, baby. Good to hear from you. Shout out. If I'm missing anybody, hit me again and let me know, and I'll shout you out. Joey, down south Joey, my man. Hope your pops is doing good. I hope they did good. I hope he made a good sauce with that sauce. I hope he made it into a bolognese like I did. I got a lot of props for making that sauce that night. I'm not gonna tell. I told you that it was with somebody. I ain't gonna tell you who it was with, but I got a lot of brownie points. You don't. Very limited seating. Tony, you don't. Tony, you don't. ... Very limited seating and 5 families have it. Yes. Talking about Rayos. Absolutely. The Boots. Boldito got the biggest table by the bar, by the door when you come in. And then a couple tables in the middle. And then Boots going around. Yeah. 5 is tough. But 4 at the booth. Yeah. Totally agree with you, bro. MLB. What's the secret to getting into Rayos? See, I don't know if he's watched my other show. I haven't took a sip yet. I opened this 5 minutes ago. $156. Really, guys? $15 and 157 people? What am I, an amateur? Am I Lee Cole? What, are you kidding me? 2,300 subs? Listen, I'm giving you to 9:30. I want 500 people on here watching. I'm giving you guys content. I'm not sitting here talking about other people or bullshitting about the daily news or the gangster blogger. You don't know about the gangster blogger, huh? I'll tell you about that one day. I'll bring you the daily news and the post and show you the gangster blog. Ricky Rice, you so beautiful. Ricky Rice, you know I know who you are, right? And you know I always talk good about you. And you know I always gave you good advice when you were a kid. I know who you are, Ricky Rice. Don't play that with me. I'm glad you made that good comment, but Hootie, you know Vinny. Yeah. Not personally, but yeah, I know Vinny TV. I know it was funny because there's an Augie TV who isn't a wise guy, but was around guys. He was like one of the last guys that had one of those old school TV repair shops with the big backs when everybody had flat screens, and then it finally closed. Augie TV's off of Rockaway Boulevard. No, that's the whole thing. Let me get back to the story. And listen, I'm not jumping all over. You're asking questions and I'm answering them. And I'm stopping from telling stories that I was telling to answer your question. So I'm not all over the place. We'll get back to them. I got stories for miles, for years. I got content that's going to last you. We'll be on here talking about it forever until the feds kick down the door. But every table in Rayos is sold. It's not that you can't get in there. The tables are sold. The owner couldn't do anything about it. If the person who owns the table didn't say that you can have the table that night, you can't sit there. It had nothing to do with being hard to get in. Those tables were sold years ago. And they own them. They'll call in and say, hey, so-and-so is coming by. Let them use my table. And so-and-so will walk in, give their name, and they'll sit at the table. No bullshit. 96 or 98. Greatest Yankee team ever was the 98. Ever. Most wins. 96. Upset, but I loved it. Jeter got Rookie of the Year. The Yankees won. I wanted to see Mattingly win that one game playoff in '95. Then he retires. He's not on the. I mean, I think he came out for the float in '96. I was at that with a few people. I wish he would have waited one more year. We would have got them. We would have got him that ring. But you know what? I love Tino at first. Who else was there before him and after him? Somebody stepped in. But it was a great year. But Mattingly was my favorite Yankee, even though Jeter's my second favorite athlete of all times, and then Tom Brady. But Mattingly is just, I put him in the class of his own. But he didn't play long enough to get into the Hall of Fame. And then he coached the bum team. Well, it looked good with Kent. What's his name? Yeah, Rihanna was dating him. Sean Kent, not Sean Kent. What was his name? I'm not a Dodger fan. When Brooklyn left, well, I wasn't born yet, but you always got the rumor, stay away from them. They went to L.A., well, California, wherever they are, the L.A. Dodgers. So, but that was always that thing. But Don Mattingly on GP, listen, two people that aren't in the Hall of Fame, and I won't go to Cooperstown until either Don Mattingly lost his eligibility. I think Pete Rose did as well. But I think you got to put it on the ballot to lose your eligibility. I'm not sure. I got to see how that works. I remember it vaguely, but I've been out of baseball for a while. Now, what they got? Gallo and Rizzo? Got to watch the Italian guys. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to Cooperstown until they put Pete Rose in. Greatest hitter of all times. I don't care what anybody says. Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, great ball players. No one's ever taken down Pete Rose's record. No one's ever... Jeter came close. 3 records that will never be broken. Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr. Never came out of a game. Joe D. Hitting streak. Never be broken. Jeter came close, but not close enough for hits. Pete Rose. Those records aren't going to be broken. So let's not try it. Joe D's hitting streak. Pete Rose. Yeah. Woody, come on. Jeter has the worst field. Yeah, he does. He does. You know what my favorite shortstop was? Ozzie Smith. But he had the worst offense ever. Used to do backflip onto the field. I went out and bought a jersey because of it. One of the best defensive players of all times and the greatest shortstop ever. But what do you get, 8 home runs a year? But let's not get it twisted. His arm wasn't as strong as the hottest. Steroids. A-Rod, steroids. Garcia Parra, don't know. Who's the other one? I know there's a few shortstops in contention. Reyes, lazy. Getting back to the quick, because you asked, wasn't part of the story. Joe Torre calls up, 96 or 98. I want to get a table, him, Zimmer, because you can't invite the Yankee team. They probably went to El Molino. So they were like, sorry, Mr. Torre, try us next year. No bullshit, no lie. Heard it from the owner. Because that was, when I first met him, that was one of the first stories I asked him. Nothing against Joe Torre Joe Torre used to buy bread from the bakery I used to live above. Because his sister was Sister Marguerite. Sister Marguerite was the head nun at the Church Nativity on Rockaway Boulevard and then became the principal. Shrewd old lady. What I loved was Lloyd Graham. During the whole Old Timers Day, they were interviewing them, and this is something I didn't know. They were very close. Him, Frank, Sister Marguerite, and I think there was other siblings. But those are the 3 we knew from the heart disease, the heart attack, the surgery, Tori, of course, and then Sister Marguerite, who was probably tougher than all of them. But Joe Torre would cater the bread to the Yankee game whenever he was in town, and he would come by and pick up a loaf for himself while visiting his sister. Tivity would always get Yankee tickets for the classes, and yes, a lot of donations. But something I didn't know, which I love, 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 it's from the Catholic Church. This is me. I don't talk religion, politics, and Sinatra. Three things we can't talk about. But Lloyd Graham said when they asked him, "What do you miss the most about being a Yankee?" You know what he said? Sister Marguerite's prayer before a game. That's a solid answer from a solid ball player. And I had no idea that she was at every home game and would say the prayer before they went out onto the field. Gotta respect that. Good shit. Are we done here, guys? 161. 161. Wow. Listen, if I don't start getting shown some love, man, these lives are going dead. It's Tuesday. No love? Appreciate my supporters that have been on and watching all the lives. I'm only doing lives because you guys want them. I got shows to do. But I'm jumping on these lives because you just want to know Hootie. The everyday Hootie. The Hootie everybody calls it. Right here, this is him. Nothing. Nothing. Good stuff. Yeah. A little cold. So, what am I wearing? What t-shirt I got? Another black t-shirt. A little stomach. Shirt's a little tight. I'm not putting out the stomach. Cardio. Hate cardio. Super chat. Get it started, TV. FWC, FTW 666 in the NYC is an infiltrator. And I'm gonna read to you. Yo, your Shacky friend is on the stacks right now. The guy with disease that you had on. I'll tell you what happened. He's on the Stacks show. Stacks has called every YouTuber and asked to borrow money and told them he got a PPE loan for $50,000 and he'll pay them back because he has to pay for guests. If JC went on his show, not from California, I feel bad for him. You want to know why? I was helping JC. We weren't going to start a charity. I don't need him to make money. There's a special place in hell for people that want to make money off of things like that. I'm good. The lights are on. The roof's over my head. I don't need nothing else. I've had everything I wanted. I don't know what else I would want. I don't need to rob, steal, or embezzle or use somebody to make money. Like I said, home invasions, thieves, paper trails, making money off of the disability. There's a special place in hell for people like that. He said he knew her first anyway. Knew who? So some Law. I grew up in Bensonhurst. Was born in Coney Island Hospital. Coney Island Hospital went bad. Much love to 86th Street. When I was a kid, they used to take me down there to look at all the Grand National Mustangs and IROCs. And the Buicks that will, GM with the... Yeah. Much love to Bensonhurst. Now living in Jersey. I'm heading to Jersey. The certain person I'm seeing is giving up the apartment in Manhattan. I'm going to Southern Jersey. Got to get out of New York. You bring back the good D and crazy memories from back in... Listen to me. You just want to talk about back in the days? I'll give you real back in the days. Real back in the days. You shovel somebody's snow on the block and you took money from them, you got your head cracked. Guys would sneak into Lindenwood and Howard Beach and Centerville and shovel snow and make money. Because if a wise guy in the neighborhood, or it was only really one wise guy, if a knockaround guy found out you on your block shoveling people's snow and taking money from them, you get a beat. You know why? And that was the same thing about robbing the people that lived in your neighborhood. They're just like you. Poor, low middle class, don't have the money. You should be out there shoveling those people's snow for free if you're a young kid. And then you know what? What they would do? Stop by the pizzeria, stop by the club, stop by the bar, and they tore you $100 bill. But I would go out and shovel all my neighbors if they needed it, and me and a couple other guys lived on the block. You can't take money from your neighbors. They're in the same position you are. That's why you live in the same area. But if you just want to get nostalgic, I can get nostalgic. I know guys that created sketching. Forget about getting on the back of cars. Q8 to Q11 going down 101st Avenue. I don't know which one. It was a Q8 or Q11. Then one was Atlantic Avenue, one was 101st. On the back, I mean, if you think about it now, how kids got killed from that, So, but you would grab onto the back of the bus fender, get on the ground. There was that much snow, and you would take the bus down the whole 101st Avenue. You get to Woodhaven Boulevard, you wait for the next bus to come, and then you take the next bus down. That was sketching. Then the old Skelsy bar. I mean, I could sit here and get you nostalgic all day long. I didn't play video games. My family couldn't afford to buy them. If they did, they wouldn't spend it on a video game. 1985, Nintendo came out. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I never learned how to play it properly, so I'm not good at video games today. And when guys want to stay home and watch video games, I want to go to the bar. I was telling you guys, my friends would want to go to the bar on a Monday night to watch the game. I had a date 7 days a week, so Monday night I was taking a girl to a bar where nobody knew me, and we were going to have a good time. So that wasn't me. And I've actually known girls that would tell their boyfriends or walk around half naked in front of their friend to try to get them to stop playing video games and pay attention to them. And these guys wouldn't. Well, I know the guys, because if you play video games, I didn't hang out with you, so. But I'll take your girl out for you. But the arcade games are cool. When I was a kid, but we used to go on the train, go to 42nd Street when it was bad. And they had the arcade, Times Square. And they had that big arcade. I don't know if a lot of you know about that. They had the big arcade. The one thing, yeah, you'd probably get into a beef, but the arcade at Coney Island, we always got beat up. We got jumped. I loved the Cyclone. And the thing with the Cyclone was, you never had to wait online after the first time. We used to ride it 3 times in a row. Me and the 2 Hyatt brothers, Irish guys. We would go, but that was later on. What happened was we would go to the Labate and put our order in. Then run over to Coney Island. Me and my cousin, I was young, used to spike my hair because I couldn't get on the ride. He used to spike my hair. Except they used to open up the ride Easter Sunday, Thanksgiving, because that's when we went for the pastries. They would open the bakeries till like 11 or 12. So we would put our order in. We would run to Coney Island. We would, what was that? The Jumbo Jet or whatever that was called. They took it down. That was amazing. Parachute drop. That was already done before my time. 5-cent hot dogs. Yeah. Nathan was great. Next to Nathan's was Great Papayas. Nathan's is my favorite, and then Great Papayas. But I heard about this place in Chicago. I didn't get to go. I wasn't in that part of town. I was in the suburb. I did go for Lala, but I need those hot dogs that the president flew in to the island of missing kids, that Epstein Island. I never got to go to that. Pinky's in California, LA. I went there. Decent hot dog. But then you go to a club, one of those beautiful bars, and it repeats on you all day. Altoids, Listerine. You're talking to a girl. You know what you gotta do? The secret to that, which I do already, Black Sambuca. I know a lot of places don't have it. Kills your breath. Nothing you can do it. You can brush your teeth. The hot dogs repeat on you. So, Hootie, hope you are doing well, brother. Just a question. Just join. Doesn't anyone bother when you walk the neighborhood? No. For what? They'll say things, they'll do things, but I don't go back much anymore at all now. I did it when Aqueduct was open. I never did. $5. Young Jimmy T, appreciate you. Used to go from Middle Village to Barcode on 42nd Street. Yeah, Barcode. Wow. Memory lane. As a kid, would get jumped. Same thing, brother. More on Coney Island than 42nd, but I had my fair share getting chased to the A train. And running up 42nd to 8th Avenue was a run. But when you're a kid, you're fast like lightning. Unless you're Noodles. Well, Noodles made it. Unless you were Noodles' boy. He couldn't make it, Noodles. Citizens app would have been insane. Good, yo, good shit, young Jimmy T. That's nostalgic right there. We get nostalgic all day if you want. Anything in the 80s. Hootie Blue Zoo, Patty Boy. Patty Boy represented hardcore for me one night. Arios, Thursday night, shrimp looch, which I didn't eat. We had the octopus with the balsamic. I ate angel hair. It was called angel hair Ario. It was wrapped, but not in aluminum foil. Angel hair. The mozzarella was so melted. When it got onto the fork, it was hard as a rock. You couldn't get it off. And the mozzarella and carottes, when it was hot and fresh out baked, oh, delicious. Loved Arios. How'd they close? I mean, I never went in there when it was packed. 4 o'clock, it was packed when they opened. How'd they close? Rio. He was on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. A lot of people didn't know that. He owned that joint. He actually started out in a pizzeria. He was a hard worker. His family had a pizzeria. He might have been one of the owners. That was a Gambino joint, by the way. Dougie on Linden Boulevard, best sauce. Yes, Mark. Not... Might have been Dougie. There was a Mark on Linden Boulevard. Could have been a Dougie. Toilet bowl, bald in the middle. Been there for years. Gray sausage and pepper heroes coming out of Lindenwood. Who's this? Luigi Melli. Appreciate you, dog. Who else? Young Jimmy T. Did anybody else that I miss? Aries. Did you know Dom Diggy from Middle Village? Are you talking about Ace? Anthony Ace? They called him Dom Middle. I don't know. Dom is. I don't know. I need a Nick Dom Diggy. I don't know. Those guys are some serious guys. I can tell you that. I used to go to the swim club by Forest Hills, Continental Avenue. Always a Reservoir Dog. Love that name. Imagine John Gotti, Pablo Escobar, and Joaquim El Chapo Guzman. El Chapo was complaining about the living quarters at ADX, Colorado. Could you imagine? Guys lived in a hole, in a room doing business. Billions would be made. I'm going to be honest with you. Gotti would outsmarted all of them and owned everything. You got to understand. These guys keep saying they're Colombians, they're Mexicans, they'll send hit squads. 15 families were so broke in those cities. Especially, what was that? The Mandolina cartel? What was that? Where Pablo was from. The Medellin cartel. And then the other one that the one gay brother was part of. Yeah, they had sicarios that protected them. But when a hit went down, they go into these villages where a cup of water was worth somebody's life. Seen it firsthand. A cup of legitimate filtered water was worth somebody's life. And they convinced these guys to do suicide missions. Here's half. Here's 5,000. That's 5 million to one of these guys. And when you do the job, live or die, your family get the other 5,000. And they would go down, 15, 20 of these guys, and blast away. They get a picture, an address, and blast away. Gotti would outsmarted all of them, and they all would have been working for him. I'll tell you a little secret. When I was trying to get the app, because this is what I want to do behind the scenes. When I was trying to get the app, because, listen, these guys said it's too much. It's not too much. I got another 3 years of content for you guys before, and I probably could go, and that's my stories. Before I even start telling other people's stories, or tell you about the old days like half these guys. I want to tell you about Albert Einstein stages in the 1920s. Yeah, I read encyclopedias too. I read newspapers and books as well when I was away. I can tell you all those stories too. So when I'm done in 2 years with all my content, I'll give you 2 years of theirs. But when I was trying to get the app. Somebody else was trying to unite all the genre for my podcasting. These guys are so narcissistic still. They didn't change. They didn't change. Maybe they stopped committing crimes that were organized. But they did everybody. And we were doing it. But it didn't seem like it was going to get done. And Sammy sent a message. If we do this, let everybody know I'm the boss. Now, that's not a shout out to Sammy. That's a shout out to how these guys work. And Senior would have ran laps around those guys. They would have thought they got a great deal. He would have pulled some G shit on them. He would have brought Joe Watts with him. And Angelo Ruggiero. Well, like, every time I drive by MDC, I honk the horn for the fellas. A lot of people do that. It's a scary building. But represent. Church Ave. That's good stuff, brother. Let people know you're out there and, you're feeling for them. Who's this? Sal DiMaggio, 187. Salute, Paisan. I don't say salute. I don't want to bite off nobody. You know what I always say? Day one. A lot of my old videos don't have it. Jinan. God bless. Stay up. Salute. The figure of Bhutan is... Nah. Joe Watts is getting out soon. Yes. He was in my building when I was there. So was Mr. Marino. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if I said this before, but when Dan Marino was there, I don't like to talk about him either, but the hacks, sergeants, they called him Mr. Danny. That's the respect he got. And I'm going to tell you another thing, and believe me, take this when I tell you this. He got fan mail. I think Joe Watts got a little bit too, I'm not sure. But Mr. Danny Marino got fan mail. The man had fans. He wasn't on the internet. He didn't have a phone number. But he was getting fan mail. Okay? Mr. Danny. That's what the hacks called him. That's what everybody in MCC called him. Mr. Danny. And he would get fan mail while being locked up. I keep trying to get to this. It's so rough now for me put my finger on it. I gotta put a little iPad cleaner. Why, Alex? Wow, Alex, in your feelings, bro. I don't know who Alex is. In my feelings, Alex was a legitimate tough guy. If you talking about the Albanian. Hot young thing on high-heeled boys. Whatever. Mumble rap, mumble talk, tough for me. I'm not knocking it, just tough for me. If I was telling something and you just cut me off with questions because I want to make sure I get to you guys because I've been telling you that, let me know. I'll tell you the stories and make sure I get them done. It's not that I forgot them. There's so many of them. It's not that I'm all over the place. I want to make sure I get to my supporters because I don't have fans and I don't have groupies and I don't have backup singers and I don't have backup dancers. I got supporters. Anybody that you see running around beefing up somebody else, call them a backup dancer. They'll hate that. Old school street word. What are you, a backup dancer? And then they went on to backup singer because he was talking. But he used to be called a backup dancer, but now everybody uses backup singer. So when you hear somebody chirping for somebody else in the background, I chirp for nobody. I got a very good friend that I will stick up for, and that's it. But when you hear somebody chirping in the background, they're a backup singer. Burns their ass. I'll learn you guys. You'll get something out of this channel more than you get out of anything. I'll give you the lingo. I'll give you the real street shit. I'm not saying these guys weren't real street, but I was in the streets 24/7. I knew what was going on, with who and when. They used to call me CJM. Is that LCH Bod Crane? Lachabad Crane? Sorry. Have you ever put on record that you're on Suboxone. What is Suboxone? What is? Am I saying it right? Subo Suboxone. What is that? Someone could let me know. Is that if it's a drug? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Oh, that's chinita. Chinita. That's what they call it on Rikers Island. The Latin Kings used to get it in. Is it a drug? Yeah, they used to get that in. Used to sell it in fours. $20 a piece. Guys would have their girls bring it in. Yeah, I didn't fuck with that. But, I mean, start whatever rumor you want. It only makes me more popular. I don't want to be popular. I want to catch the right supporters so I can help. 161, I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. Only 45 thumbs up out of 161. Really? You guys don't like the content that much? I can't get 160 thumbs up? I should have 265 people on here. I see 308 on channels that don't get half the watch time I get. Then you get a list once you're monetized, and it tells you all the channels that the people are watching that are watching yours. That has nothing to do with stalking. It just comes up, and I look. They get more watches, but less watch time. What are we doing here, guys? I think I'm just going to be done with the lives. What do you want? If I can't get the respect that I'm giving you, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's an embarrassment, 161 with 57 thumbs up. It's an embarrassment. I'm giving you guys solid information that these guys don't even know about because they're talking about the 1960s and the early 80s. These guys are talking about shoveling snow and how they were on record with 70,000 people. Where I walked in everywhere and wasn't on record with nobody. And played cards in every club. Because that's who I was. But they'll get 900 comments. And I'm not jealous. I'm trying to reach the right people. And it's not the kids. If the kids can get something out of it, and I put it. Every time I put a video up. Not for kids under 18. Like everybody else preaches. Not me. This is for the guy out there that thinks he's doing good and he's going to be part of something. Well, I did great. And I was a part of something. And I still got it. Right here, I got it. Get me aggravated. I spill water. It's not even flat. I like it better. Sparkling. It's good for, makes the throat feel better. My favorite 80s video game was Jungle Hunt. Ooh, Atari, I remember ColecoVision, Nintendo, NES, 2, I don't know, Sega Genesis maybe. Let me know. TG, what is that? TGIA is Ambelizo. Yup, you're pretty good, bro. You're always putting some positive out there. Explain to me what that is. I'm clueless to modern day stuff that I don't know. What's up, brother? Who's that? Irish, you would. Oh, I like that. Irish, you would. I wish you would. Love what you did there. Reservoir Dog, you're back. Who's more ruthless, the Beth Avenue crew or the Ozone Pok boys? Listen, nothing against the Beth Avenue boys that had a short run. Their leader got killed real quick. You hear stories about how some of them froze up. 77 boys don't froze up. 77 boys all got down. 77 boys were all shooters. Except when they were younger, they had 5,000 kids hanging out the corner. When they initiated the 77 boys and became part of TLP, those guys got down. And you know what? They didn't need to be on record with nobody because wise guys didn't even want them around. To be honest with you, one of them shot up a social club. Got away with it. So, that's the 77 boys. Not taken away from the Beth Avenue crew because I'm going to tell you something. The Springfield boys, who I think Lee DeVanzo was the leader of. Don't know him, not talking shit about him. But I think Chris Pachilla was the leader. Somebody else was the leader before him. Those guys had big balls in Staten Island. And there's a lot of crews. Look, the Chicos. Imagine the Chicos coming to your house. I said this before. You were dating their sister. They got like 27 brothers and 30,000 cousins. Ooh. And if they let you fight one-on-one, you got to fight the whole... You just might as well take a beating from one of them. Then it's over. You beat one up, you're going to have to probably fight them all one-on-one. But back then, we had a lot of tough guys. But there was only one shooter. Paulie. I mean, don't get me wrong. Joey became one because he killed his friend. Tommy Reynolds was out of his mind, but he wasn't Italian. And Fabrizio was probably the only one that got straightened out. And they talk about how he froze. 77 boys don't freeze. For nobody. And there ain't 7 of them. 70 of them that are ready to get down. And you know what? They're dead. Jail. Dismantled. There's a lot of them. But, listen. I'll give credit where credit's due. East New York was our guys. Came into Ozone Pok. Tough crew. A lot of guys. But they made money. Moved into nice houses. Now, those guys already lived in nice houses on Beth Avenue and Bensonhurst and 86th Street. They lived in beautiful houses. They wound up all selling to the Koreans for $1 million, $800,000, their houses. Those guys grew up good. They didn't probably need that lifestyle. And they all lived in, like, Bay Ridge and those beautiful... I priced an apartment where these guys lived and hung out in Bay Ridge. They wanted $3,000 for a one-bedroom a month. Like, what am I, on Rodeo? But they had a few shooters. But the problem was, Brooklyn was wild. Wild. And it was kill or be killed. Ozone Pok, Owl Beach, yeah, Woodhaven. Woodhaven was the Woodhaven Warriors. Just called the Wild Wild West. It was shootouts all the time. But it was a little different. Brooklyn, those guys just killed people and went to jail. Killed people, went to jail. Nuts. But they did. But comparing that one crew to that crew, these guys had 70 shooters. These guys didn't have 70. They had one. And I'm not talking bad about them because I'm sure Jimmy's going to go make an episode. Make an episode about God. You're a God-fearing man. That's how you introduce yourself to me. And then sandbag me for Sammy's show. Yeah, my show was small, but we were supposed to get the word out. To get the people out of the life. That was the point. But you went on Sammy to build a channel to make money. So let's knock it off, okay? Apologize. And make this right. And let's move on. Because I don't got a problem. But I did nothing to you. And the kid, you're saying me and the junkie from Long Island. Kid ain't a junkie. It's a kid that's got issues that he's working on. And he ain't a bad kid. I forgave him. And he scumbagged me. Because I know he's a good kid deep down inside. He may scumbag me again. Hey, shame on me. But let's knock it off. Nobody's coming after you for other people. I'm my own man. This is Hootie's platform. This is Hootie's Social Club. That's it. No other names. That's it, guys. I'm wrapping it up. I went past 9:30. I got 165. He's did me dirty. I love you guys for representing me. These are the best. This is for the guy out there, not for the kids. You just want to get nostalgic, hit me up. I don't check these. Somebody will start checking them. Yes. Yes. I smoked a real good one in Chicago. I found a place. A little small. But I picked these two Romeo and Juliet's up. I'm going to smoke them this weekend. One of them. Small one. Nice and easy. So, yes. I smoked a good one. It was hand-rolled Dominican. Delicious. So, yeah, I'm set up for the weekend. I appreciate the guys that came on. You just want to know anything, hit me up on IG. No. Even what they were called. I mean, every time I turn around, they were on the record with 72 different guys. You got caught smoking a joint with a wise guy, you get your hands cut off. Ozone Pok was a lot different. I'm not saying it was because I know someone's going to make a video. Brooklyn was better, 86th Street. Well, listen, we had Brooklyn. We were East New York. We were Ozone Pok. East New York was connected to Ozone Pok and Lindenwood. So Lindenwood was condos and co-ops and buildings that were part of Howard Beach. Same zip code. They were Howard. There's no such thing as Lindenwood. Their postal code and their neighborhood is called, and their town is Howard Beach. We call it Lindenwood because it's all buildings with apartments and guarding homes. You get what I'm saying? We're going to get back to the story about the belt and the chain and the switchblade at me at PS 223 in the hood in South Jamaica, being the only probably white light skinned guy. There wasn't even Spanish guys in that school. Pretty cool. I made a few friends for a lot of my life until I went into. Woody, are you there any differences between how 5 families were organized? There's actually 7 families that are very close, 5 that talk. However, now I don't know, and 25 throughout the country. That's how it was set up. I don't know if there's any more. That's how you got Don Russell Buffalino and Don Frank Bruno. Those are the other 2 families. And Don Russell Buffalino used to look up to Don Frank Bruno. He gives a lot of credit to him for where he got in his life. But those are the other 2 families. People are going to argue and say, yeah, I always talk about it was Philly, it was Jersey, it was Pittsburgh, Detroit. It was Detroit. They retired and moved into mansions. They weren't doing big things. Oh, they worked with politicians. Yeah. You don't want to know why? You really want me to tell you why? I don't want to make Detroit look bad. You want to know why? Because they said we'd rather deal with these people because they're not animals. That's what they said. That's what the politicians said. Because the rest of Detroit was shit. They didn't want to go into the hoods and deal with them. But they did. And they didn't lock up the Italians. Okay? That's what they did. That's straight from a politician's mouth. And that's straight from an ex-chief of police's mouth. Okay? Believe me. Mickey Mouse Mafia. And I'm not trying to down talk anybody. I'm trying to give my supporters, my true supporters, facts. 15 people jumped off. Good night, people. Stay up. Jindan.